Hello, Olumide.
Hi,
Good afternoon.
Kolawole. Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am really excited. Honored to be on this platform. Thank you for all you do, and I look forward to having a great conversation.
That we sure will do. I would start
Yep.
from. I'll start from where you said one of your tweets that said, "If you can act consistency,
Yeah.
that you've act success," something like that.
Oh
You
yes.
want to elaborate about that?
Okay. Well, I think that tweet particularly says that if you can hack consistency, you have hacked success, right? And that stems from one of my personal belief, right? That everything we want on the other side of life, I mean, on the other side of our desires in life, which is, getting successful and meeting some of our goals and everything, is not based off of the education we have, it's not based off of the skills we have, it's not based off of anything other than our ability to be consistent in whatever we've chosen to do, right? And I learned that the hard way because there was a time in my life that I'm a big dreamer. Like I always dream a lot, but I realized that one of the things that stopped me from implementing my dreams, right, or achieving a lot of things I want at one point or the other said I wanted to achieve was because I set what I call big, airy, audacious goals. But then those big, audacious goals then scare me to the point that I overthink them and then I dump them, or I start to look for partners who would help me achieve them because I always thought that I couldn't do it alone. And the problem with doing that sometimes is that if you get somebody who does not buy into the dream that you are trying to sell, you just have somebody who will end up coming to convince you why you should dump the dream anyways, right? So instead of doing that, I then learned that if I wanted to continue to achieve my goals, or I wanted to at least achieve some of my goals, it was not about how well I thought about them. It was not about the number of people that go along that journey with me. It was about what is that thing I'm able to do consistently daily towards achieving the goal. So if I say I want to write a book, even if I am only going to write 100 words on a daily basis, I will end up finishing that book one day than me taking forever to think of the outline, to think of whether what kind of topic I want to give to the book, whether I'm going to have the market that will be ready for the book, who is going to help me distribute, will people even want to buy at a price? And then one day I just realized that this book is not worth my time. So, and that has been what has helped me a lot. As at the time when I made that tweet, I just completed a major milestone in my life. And while I was kind of just thinking through the process of achieving that, I realized that what got me to that point was me dedicating a couple of hours weekly to working on this goal until it became a habit, right? Which is the second thing I wanted to say that, you know, we are humans and we're a product of our habits, right? I think I've read that in a book somewhere. I can't remember now, but as humans, we're a product of our habits. So if you see somebody who is achieving certain things, living life in a certain way that you admire, if you look closely, if you observe closely, you realize that they built certain habits into their lives that has made them hack productivity or hack, success, right? And for you to build habits, you need to be consistent. So that habit, when we talk about it, habits are not easy to build. But when you determine and you decide to build consistency towards certain actions, and then you suddenly realize that you built a habit, and with your habit, you can now layer a lot of things on those habits, and then you're successful. And before I leave this matter, I would like to clarify that consistency is not necessarily you saying, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to studying this skill every day, right? Consistency is that even on days you cannot dedicate that 2 hours, at least you do 10 minutes. At least other day you do 20 minutes. You know, no matter what, even if it's 5 minutes, you check in so that you don't break it off. That is consistency. Consistency is not that disciplined 2 hours daily, even if it will not make sense, right? If it's 10 minutes you can give daily, that would make sense to you. If it's 1 hour, if it's 5 minutes, that you just show up every day or every week as it requires or as it demands, and you do it wholeheartedly, that is consistency. And that is the pathway to success.
I so much agree with that. It's one of your tweets that resonate with me, and that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
It's because I believe so. I believe it needs so much. The When I was thinking about it, I remember what Malcolm Gladwell wrote in Outliers, the 10,000 hour thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, when Nava was now talking about it, Nava was like, it's not actually it's not actually repetition, it is iteration. Say,
Yes.
if you it's not about doing something the same way. You can do it over and over again and do it. So it's about doing it and then improving on it. And that aligns with what we are talking about, that it is not necessarily 2 hours every day. It is, can you show
Absolutely
up
not.
daily? Can you show up
Yes.
daily and do what you say you want to do? Did
That
um did you observe this in the early days of your marketing? Or is it when you become a senior? 82.
so I think that for me, consistency also brought me into marketing. And I'll tell you a quick story of how I landed in marketing. Right. I when while I was growing up, I thought I was going to end up in Nollywood. I wanted to be an actor, a Nollywood actor. In fact, I studied theater arts in school, Obafemi Awolowo University, right? But when I got to, I think, 300 level, I started to kind of overthinking again, overthinking. I started to think that, look, you are not a fine boy. You are not Ramsey Noah. You are not Jim Ike. You are not any of these fine guys. So what is your hope? Do you want to go to Nollywood and be a Sonyeri? No disrespect to Sonyeri, right? Like, because my observation at the time was that if you are not a fine boy, you are not going to get the big roles, right? But best case, they will give you Gatesman roles and all of that. I felt I deserved better than that, or I just wasn't confident enough in my skills. Not like I didn't have good skills. I just felt like there was a lot of things that could play against me in the market. So I started to look for a plan B for myself. And interestingly, because I'm still close to the entertainment sector, one thing that jumped out at me at the time was blogging. At the time, blogging was kind of new in Nigeria, but some people had already gone ahead to take over the space. I'm talking of the Linda Ekejis at the time, Olori Supergirl, Stella Dimoko, and all of those. And I really liked what they were doing. I said, okay, I like to go into this too. I like to be a blogger, just talk about the industry, talk about entertainment, talk about different stuff, and people get to read me. That was the next best thing I could think of at the time. So I opened a blog, right? And that was how I stumbled my way into marketing, because in the course of starting that blog, the name of the blog was Glowview. That was how I got my brand name, right? And I wasn't really even talking about entertainment that much. I was just writing stories because I'm a writer kind of as well. I was just writing stories, and my stories resonated quickly with my community. So I had a lot of readers who always had looked forward to, anytime I posted new stories on my blog. And in the process of me running that blog, I learned social media marketing, right? I learned SEO because I needed more people to see my blog without me having to chase everybody with links all the time. I learned email marketing. I learned web optimization. I learned analytics. I learned paid advertising. I mean, it was a function of me consistently showing up every day and saying, how can I make this blog get bigger? How can I make it get better? And in the process of doing that daily, I started to pick up all of these marketing skills without even realizing what I was doing at the time was marketing. It took a chance meeting with Timila Bello, Big Timmy. He's a PR guru. We met during my youth service. We served together in Benin. He was already into PR at the time. He was working with BHM at the time. So he was one that opened my eyes to say, look, guy, what you're doing is really marketing. In fact, you can do PR as well. So that was when I started to really realize that, okay, so what I had actually been doing has been marketing all this while. So he introduced some gigs to me. I did good ultimate search on this thing. I was part of those who were always tweeting about it. I did Mortina Dancehall, a couple of gigs at the time. So because money started coming, I then took it more seriously. Say, okay, this is the real deal. So he opened my eyes, and by the time I had already built a habit. Remember what I said at the beginning that consistency leads to habit. So I'd already built a habit of always showing up. So my social media pages, I was always showing up on Facebook, on Twitter at the time, and I kind of grew in popularity, and that was how because I grew in popularity, I knew quite a number of people, and some way somehow, Big Timmy just linked me up with an opening in a real estate company. They were looking for a marketing officer, and I went there. I didn't at the time. I didn't have any certification in marketing other than my BSc certificate, right? I went there, they asked me questions, I answered like a pro. Even I thought I was just having a chat, but it was a proper interview. But I was answering based off of the experience, the hands-on experience I'd built in the course of running my blog. And that was how I got the job. And 11 years after, I've grown, I've done virtually everything you can think of within the marketing and comms space today. So yeah, that was how I built my career.
Interesting stuff. Interesting story.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
really,
I'm glad I
I
stumbled
really,
into it.
yeah, seriously, because I wouldn't have asked like, oh, how did you start marketing? It wouldn't have come to my head at all, and that's why I
Yeah.
like that the podcast is always conversational.
Yep.
I am very curious about one of your trend. I'm going to read it out to
Okay.
you. I
Okay.
intentionally want to read. I don't read out trend on my podcast, but I want to read this one out. Maybe you can
Okay.
say a lot about it. The best piece of career advice I've received in the last 5 years came from a colleague, and it
Yeah.
has shaped my career between 2020 and today. It goes thus.
Yeah.
Right now, your most valuable asset is the number of people who know you, like you, and
Yeah.
trust you.
Yeah.
You will be defined by your unique takes on things, your story, and your ability to innovate. Every opportunity that comes your way will involve a good mention of your name or a Google search of what you do or who you are. Every deal
Yeah.
you do that you will make and every team that you will lead will be because of who you are, not your CV or what it says on your business card.
Yeah.
That is why from now on you must see yourself as an enterprise that others need to know about. If you're in a job, your enterprise in quote currently sells your time to your employer. More than that, it
Yeah.
must sell a result that your employer wants. You won't be
Yeah.
known for the place you work. You'll be known for the people you connected with, to the ideas you immersed in, and what you deeply care about. Once these things
Yeah.
are widely known, you have you have constant stream of opportunity coming your way and you places you have never been. When I read that thread, I was like, wow. I listened to Naval and Chris on Modern Wisdom
Yeah.
podcast. And
Yeah.
what Naval said, he said, if he's going to define how to make money in two words, he would say, productize yourself. That is, makes
Yeah.
yourself a product. And I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, making yourself know that you are now an enterprise. It's same thing. It's like, I was like, whoa, wow, two different people
Definitely.
from different places are saying the same thing. Productize yourself. See yourself as an enterprise now, and then work with that.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that thread?
Oh yes. I'll give you a bit of backstory. I'm a storyteller. I like telling stories a lot, right?
I'm here to listen.
Yeah. So I'll give you a bit of backstory to how that thread came to be. So at the year, I think 2020, that was when I made that tweet, or when this incident actually took place. Remember, it was during the COVID year, right? And we were all confined into our homes. It looked like the world was going to end. It looked like things were changing fast. It looked like we would never see the world the way we knew it again. And for some of us, or let me say for me at the time, I was really scared of what the future held for me, to say, okay, if we can't go to work anymore, what else can what else can we possibly do to survive in this world? I mean, if I'm a business owner and I can't go to open my store, I can't do anything. How will I survive? How will I take care of my family? I was a newly married at the time, right? And I was really apprehensive. And I was just having that conversation with my colleague at the time, and he just told me that he asked me a simple question to say, if they took your job away today, who will you be? That was the question he asked me. Like, if they took that thing that you're doing right now away today, say, if you were to introduce yourself without talking about the job that you do, who will you be? Will what is left enough to take care of you? So he was basically trying to tell me that we are more than the work that we do. Yes, our work tends to define us, but our work, the real work that defines us, is not the work we do 9 to 5. It is the work we do in building um, relationships with people around us. So you can have multiple work that you do, which your 9 to 5 is just one of them. The work you do with family brings you certain kinds of opportunities. The work you do with friends bring you certain kind of opportunities. The work you do in the communities you belong to, your alumni body, your church, your neighborhood, your country, they bring different kinds of opportunities. So if you lose one job, you have not lost your life, right? But if you give your entire life, right, to just your job and you lose it, you feel empty, right? So he was basically telling me that if your brand is just restricted to what is paying you to survive, then you are not yet living. You have not yet built a career. So your career is not necessarily your role in the organization that you work with. Your career is everything that you commit yourself to. You get. And for you to build that to the point, right, where you would get to that point, you need to invest so much in, three key things that he mentioned. He said your most valuable assets that you need to build is the number of people who know you. So you need to find a way to get known for something. It does not mean that everybody must know you for the same thing, but they must know you for something. In your church, they can know you as that tireless, resilient solution provider to any issue. At work, they can know you as the innovator, but they know you for something. They know you for a value that you bring. You get? And then those who like you. So it is important that in the process of you doing this, you don't ride roughshod on people. You don't trample on people on the way to getting known or to success. You need people on your side so that when opportunity comes and you are not there, they think about you and they are happy to introduce you to those opportunities. When your name is being mentioned where you are not there, it is not mentioned in derision. It is not mentioned with anger. It is not mentioned with anything negative. It's mentioned for positive, right? And finally, they should trust you. So your integrity also matters, right? Once you are able to build around these three things, you are already a success. And I took that and I ran with it to say, look, I'm going to try my best to be a man of value anywhere I find myself. I don't have to be the best at everything, but I must be good enough to be trusted, to be known and trusted at what I do wherever I find myself. So at work, I make sure that I go after problem solving. You know me, you know you can trust me to solve a problem for you. Right. Everywhere that I go, I try to at least make myself useful because that is basically how you build a career for yourself, sort of, right? Because what you are known for is what becomes your career, right? And so if you need opportunities, the last time, I don't usually like saying this in public places, but I think I've worked in about 4 or 5 places, companies now. I think I've only ever applied only once, right? Most of the places where I have worked, it has been a function of somebody who has seen me doing something and they trust me enough to recommend me for an opportunity. Do you understand? That is how I'm able to have a career, sort of. So even if I am to leave where I am working now, I just need to show up in other places and new opportunities will come. And that is what you want to call a career. So your career is not defined by your employment status as of now. Your career is the number of opportunities you can take when they show up. And that is a function of the brand, the personal brand, the intentionality you put into building that brand on a daily basis. Back again to consistency.
Yes. Thank you so much for explaining that trade. I want you to
Thank you.
also talk about one part in that trade that I find
Yeah.
fascinating,
Yeah.
and that part is where I think where you spoke about you are now an enterprise, and
Yeah.
the person that you should see yourself as a business offering
Mm-hmm.
value to your employer.
Yeah.
Now, in
Yes.
Nigeria, some people have this mentality that, oh, ogata, wahala they go pay me.
Yeah.
Now, if you see yourself as an enterprise, as a business,
Mm-hmm.
before the end of the month, you definitely start evaluating yourself. I am a
Yes.
business. What value have I provided for this my
And what
employer?
am I getting in return? Yeah.
My employer is going to pay me
Mm-hmm.
my salary at the end of the month, yes, but have I
Yeah.
provided enough value in return as a business?
Yeah.
Because if you see, I really actually resonate with that part a lot because I think many people don't see themselves as a business, an enterprise, like you suggested. If an enterprise,
Mm-hmm.
if you're suggesting an enterprise to your startup, to your brand, to your organization that you work with, at the end of the quarter, you evaluate that this business that we are partnering with, are they even providing any value for us? Is it making
Yeah.
sense? If it's not providing value, you
Mm-hmm.
want to terminate. But you yourself, you are
Yeah.
not evaluating yourself as an enterprise.
Absolutely. So yeah, to speak about that, I would try to go from two angles, right? The first thing I like to say about that is there's something I always tell my colleagues at work, the team members I work with, to say, and it's a personal principle for me as well, to say the month where I get my salary a lot and I feel guilty about it, I'm resigning. If you pay me my salary as an employer today and I feel like I have not deserved this salary, I would resign. And so that thought haunts me once it is about 15th of the month, right? Once I think of, okay, it's about 10, 11 days to salary, what have I done this month to make me feel like when this money comes, I can spend it with my full chest? And that is what I tell my team members to say, look, there is only so much your manager can do to keep you accountable. There is only so much the organization can do. You yourself need to have something that holds you accountable personally. So when you get your salary, do you do you feel guilty about it? Now, it's fine. Not everybody will feel guilty about it. I mean, one of my biggest mentors, Basamta, I don't know if you know him. Lanre Adelanwa is very popular as Basamta. He wrote something on LinkedIn, I think yesterday. He said there are employees who live to work and there are employees who work to live, right? The difference between them is one only just wants to do the bare minimum enough till the next payday and get his pay and go. The other really takes his job as value that he is offering to the growth of the organization. It takes his purpose from the job. So it is not the what he is getting from the job is more like the natural reward you get for the value that you give. But the other person just wants to struggle and move, just pay me. Let me you are just I just have this job as a means to survive. It is not if they tell the guy that don't worry, we'll keep paying you, don't do the job, they will go. But the other person, if you take the job away from them, it's like you are taking a part of their life away, right? So for you to see yourself as an enterprise, it would mean that you move away from that regular employee or that regular person and you consider yourself to be a talent, right? When you are a talent, you will be in top demand. Even the person that currently has you cannot hold on to you too long because they will know that I cannot afford to lose this person. So they want to do everything in their power to keep you because people will want to poach you, people will want to take you away. And that is when you begin to, that happens only when you begin to consider yourself as an enterprise that is set to deliver value and gain value as well. So you look at yourself. There is a current conversation happening on Twitter as of the time of this recording of should social media managers do content marketing, content creation with community management, and I've seen a lot of takes. But one take that I've respected the most is that look, if you are going to grow in anything, you must be willing to expand yourself. You are not expanding yourself because of the role you are playing right now. You're expanding yourself because of the role that you will eventually play. Maybe not at your current organization, but in the next. You get because you cannot be doing all of that hard work thinking that this is where your life is going to, this is the best you will ever be. So you must think of yourself as an enterprise to say, look, I may be doing a lot of, let me liken it to an organization. Look at Apple, right? Apple is currently selling iPhone 16 right now, right? But they are doing a lot of work for maybe the next iPhone that will come out. Now they are not yet getting paid for that work, but they are already doing it, isn't it? So that when they finally release it, they can recoup all of that investment that they've made. That is how to see yourself as an enterprise. You must not be satisfied with your current level. And that's what you get when you work in an enterprise. They say if you want to get promoted to the next level, you have to start acting like the next level in your current level. You get. So all of what you're doing now is you expanding yourself, is you thinking ahead, is you bringing value to the table because for you to be acting the next level, you are bringing more value than is expected of you right now. So you cannot say that I'm not going to bring value, but I expected to be rewarded for value that I've not given. So seeing yourself as an enterprise is being in that constant mindset of saying, I need to add more value to myself so that I can gain more value for myself. That's it.
75. This particular part of the discussion has been so awesome.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy you brought the discussion on Twitter on into it too. to make people understand that look, well, regardless of how many discussion we have, I think some people will still stay as a B player, while some people that want to become an A
honestly.
player, they
And
go
it is
ahead and
fine. We can't all be A players because if we're all A players, we will appreciate the A players.
A players. Yeah, yeah. And I know employer knows, right? Employer knows
Of
they can
course,
see
they
through
can tell
this.
the difference.
They can tell the difference. Yeah, yeah. And like you said, a lot of people. One of the things that my mentor told me is that you have to see every day as an interview. Every day you go to work, see it as if you are interviewing.
Absolutely.
He said you are
Yes.
not just interviewing to your employer, but you are interviewing to your colleague.
Yes.
Because for somebody to recommend you, they are you have to be sure of you. So many
Mm-hmm.
people don't know. Like, if you are a social media manager that creates content for your brand, content creation is not part of your job, but you create it.
Yeah.
If I am your colleague and I say a content creator slash social media manager job elsewhere, I
Who is
can
the first
recommend
person
you.
I will recommend? You are the one, definitely.
Because
So you are writing your CV practically by just adding more value to yourself. That's just how it works, honestly.
and then you can never lose.
Never.
One of the excuses that people always say is that I'm doing the work of this. They're not paying me. Oh, what I'm doing is worth 600,000. They're paying me 200,000.
Yeah, it's because they place a lot of value on their current situation than the future situation. And it's a mindset shift that is required there. Just change your mindset and you're fine.
Thank you very much, Olumide. It's been nice talking to you. I want to talk
Thank
about
you.
let's go into marketing straight up from that point.
All right.
One of your teeth about marketing was that marketing is easier when you have the right tools, people, and environment. Notice
Yeah.
that he did not say budget. I was like, oh. When I read it to that point, I have to go back to read it again. That when you have the right tools, people, and environment. Notice I did not say
Yeah.
budget. Very intentional because some of your best idea comes when you don't have money. And I agree with that solely. When people are broke, sometimes in your personal life, when you are broke, that's when your head
Yeah.
will cook.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
but marketers complain about budget most times. That I don't give me enough budget, blah blah blah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that budgeting or budget is not important in marketing. In fact, it is very important, right? But the thing about marketing that I have learned in my career is not marketing is not the or success in marketing is not defined by how much money you throw at it, right? It is defined by how much understanding you have of the market, of your customer, and the objectives that you have set for yourself. Do you get? And coming into that space, or I got that understanding because I have worked in a startup, I've worked in a large enterprise, I've worked in a semi startup, I've worked across. I've been in a situation where we had to growth hack completely. Like you don't have budget, but you must grow, but you must make noise, but you must create, you must reach out. And then I've also been in a situation where you have the budget, right? And you are giving all of the resources. Guess what? I've now also been in a situation where you think that you're supposed to have the budget, but they will not give it to you, and you must still grow. You get? Honestly, it is like the story of the prodigal son, right? Where you have to learn discipline. And so here is what I'm talking about in a nutshell. When marketing is about testing ideas and scaling the ones that work and quickly killing the ones that won't.
Hmm. Yeah. Correct.
Right? Now, some of your best ideas will not come when you have money because when you have money, you already feel like half of the problem has been solved for you. You are not going to be sensitive to a lot of small nuances here and there that you can quickly pick up. You are not going to be thinking of the extra level of creativity that you can put just to get attention. Imagine that you don't have money and you need to create content, video content, right? If you have money, you probably be waiting to get gadgets, to buy tripod, get stand, get lights, you know, you need to subscribe to Adobe something for editing. You want to get the best hands and all of that. But guess what? Do you know that some of the most viral memes and content we see online today, they are usually very poorly created.
Yes.
They usually don't require the big budget, the big gadgets and everything. Because you are in your hustle mode, you are creating out of all that you have in you, not outside of you. So, if you really want to do marketing, even if you have a budget, you need to have a period where you are working at low or no budget. Let's go and craft something. Let's go and think of something. Let's test it out, right? Which is why I said if you have the right tools, and yeah, tools does not necessarily mean tech tools, right? You have a phone, you have data, right? You can pick one or two things together, and just try different things, right? You have people. Now, the people is the major part. The people that you have in your team must be dogged. They must be willing to give their all to making it work, right? And then you need to now have an environment that allows you to create freely, that allows you to fail, to make mistakes, to learn. What I've realized in a lot of organizations, when they give you money, they expect you to go and bring the world back. So they don't give you the patience. They don't give you that environment. They expect that I've given you 1 million. You're supposed to be giving me 3 million customers.
It's out.
You understand? And that puts a lot of pressure on the people. So they want to go for low hanging fruits quickly. Nobody is spending a lot of time doing research, trying to understand the customer, trying to understand the market, trying to understand, why this is important to the organization. Everybody just wants to go and quickly just get it done and let's just go and let's just finish it. So when organizations sometimes when they don't create that environment and they don't give enough trust in the people and also do not equip them with the right tools to do some of this work, marketing will just be random. It will just be normal. You will just see people doing regular social media posting every day, nothing spectacular, nothing different. The only time you hear about them is when they want to spend money and run some paid ads, or when they have money to give to an influencer that will just make noise like every other influencer. But if you see real organizations that are really making the real noise about marketing, from a marketing standpoint, you will see that their ideas are usually very different because they've spent some time to do the necessary thinking, the necessary, processes. They've built their people that much to be able to deliver that level of work. But I mean, and this is for managers. As a manager, you need to give your team that liberty to go think outside of money. Some in my current organization, we had a period where we couldn't get approval for our marketing budget. And I told the team, for the next foreseeable future, we are going to be running a no budget marketing. Trust me when I tell you that those guys wowed me because they discovered their inner content marketing genius. They started to use content marketing to gain the kind of mileage we didn't gain when we had money. People started to go into communities, started conversations, started ideas, X spaces, different things that they could have been doing before. But because there was money, it was a comfort zone. But when they moved out of that comfort zone, they discovered new geniuses. You get now, if we get approval, we know what to put money in and scale, right? So that for me is something that every team needs to go through. There should always be that rainy season and dry season. The dry season teaches you to prepare for the rainy season, right? Or sorry, the rainy season teaches you to prepare for the dry season. So during the dry season, you learn how to manage. You learn how to, how to sustain yourself, how to find new innovation that can help you. And that's basically how it works.
I so much agree with you on that. And it is same thing when I was new into marketing then. And I believe everybody should go through that phase, like you said. Everybody should go through that phase
Yeah.
where you are getting things done without money. Especially when you will now be forced to do SEO, you now be forced to reach out to
Oh,
people and beg them to come to your space.
exactly.
And I know
Exactly.
social media managers will be forced to now think of very crazy content because they want to
You get, because you need to gain the attention. You still need to meet those KPIs. You would think differently outside of the box. That's it.
see. And you end up very, very happy as the person doing the job. I always tell people to do it. Like just
Yeah.
try and it goes back to the conversation we're having on Twitter today, about this social media manager and all of these things. It goes back to
Yes.
you. Like if you do good
The
stuff, you
satisfaction you get from doing it is way better than when you have money. Honestly,
you're so happy. You'll be proud. You'll be proud
you
that
will put it in your portfolio. I did this organically. You get. Exactly. Because I mean, I'm going to respect somebody who builds a social media page from zero to maybe 10,000 without needing to spend money. There's somebody who used paid advertising to build the social media page. You didn't build the page, you just manage the growth of the page. Building the page would mean that you actually came up with witty inventions, innovations, content that pulled the right attention towards the brand, and people followed because they could relate. They could, you didn't flash yourself over their faces until they followed you. You actually took the game to them, and they believed in you. That is more, you know, that's more of an accomplishment than, of course, I'm not saying that if you spend money to build a page that you've not done the job. I mean, it means you've targeted right and all of that. But I'm saying the satisfaction that you get from knowing that even if it is 2,000 extra followers you built from organic standpoint, own it. It is your badge, it's your victory. And that's what I want people to take from this, to say, look, I need to think of a no budget strategy that I will own and say this is born out of my own creativity.
on marketing, I want to ask one of the
Yeah.
things that I've asked a lot of the people I've brought in, Shewan Adiola, Pakuma, Femi Anthony, they believe that marketing should be concerned about sales. Like your marketing must lead directly to sales. You must be able to see that this is how my marketing is helping sales.
Yeah.
Some marketing newbie always argue that no, I'm just to bring the leads now. I'm just doing marketing. What do you think about that?
I mean, why are you doing marketing if it is not supposed to lead to sales in the first place? And again, I think some of the reason why we have people who think that marketing and sales, or marketing should not be involved in sales, is because maybe, I don't know, but this is something from the past. In organizations that used to exist long before now, there used to be sales department and marketing department separated from each other. And that was because a lot of selling depended on physical interactions, right? At the time. So marketing's job was to create enough popularity for the product so that when the salesperson goes out and they are talking to you as a prospective buyer, you already know about the product and you are more kind of willing to listen to the salespeople. Today, mark, marketing and or selling has evolved to the point of customers can make a decision right there and then when they see your product through digital means. So it means now that, now that we have digital marketing, not only will you run an advert for me to see, you can also immediately tell me how to get that product immediately, and I can do it right there and then. So it means that marketing and sales have become fused together. So you cannot now say, I want to do marketing without it leading to sales. You cannot separate them anymore, especially from a digital standpoint. You get? Even, I will tell you that, um, even if you were to do brand building, of course, brand building is the kind of marketing that you would do and you say, oh, we're not necessarily trying to sell, we just want to build perception and all of that. But there is an element of that brand building that you are doing to also lead to people making inquiries, which will then lead to sales. So organizations have evolved to the point of just saying, I want to keep budget aside, where it is just for me to use to create awareness, and that will not bring something back to the organization. So if you're a marketing person, the best way to continue to prove your value, and I must tell marketers this thing, founders or employees, be employers, are getting tired of giving marketing budgets if we cannot prove how much we have brought back to the organization. Budgets are being cut year on year. Now you have to speak more English than anybody else in the organization to get your budget approved. And do you know why? Because many times we just go back to management with vanity metrics, right? We are not, a lot of leaders are not, have not built enough capacity to tie performance, marketing performance, to sales outcomes, right? They've not built that capacity, well enough. And until we can get to that point where we can say, this thing that we are doing on social media, this thing that we are doing with influencers, this thing that we are doing in these communities, this is how much it has given to the organization, not only from acquired customers, but actually transacting or valuable customers, retained customers that we've been able to get, and the total lifetime value that we've gotten from these customers, to say this is our ROI. We've spent X amount on our total marketing this year using this number of touch points. And from these touch points, we've gotten this X number of customers. Out of this number of customers, we've been able to see quality performance in terms of what they bought, how often they've bought, the repeat purchase, their retention, their loyalty to the brand, sometimes how many other people they've referred. And that's the total lifetime value you've gained from these customers. So it's a lot of data analytics work that you have to do to convince somebody to say, okay, I see the quality of customers coming from you. Until then, marketers will keep losing their value to salespeople, because salespeople will continue to be the one to claim everything. Oh, we brought this total number of customers. Even though some of your work contributed to it, they will continue to claim everything, right? And you will just be there, and they will keep getting more budget to do their activations, to do whatever they are doing, while you keep getting your budget cut down, because you just cannot link. And again, one of the smartest way to do this, right, that I always tell people, is you have to be pally with salespeople. You cannot be doing we versus them with your salespeople. You must get them close, because they will be able to tell you give you a lot of insights that will make your marketing more effective. And they can also be able to tell you the kind of customers that came through your efforts. And both of you will agree that, look, now me bring this customer. So when you are telling the story, tell them that we did this together. Another set of people you need to pally with will be your customer success people or your customer support people, because through that channel, you can drive a lot more repeat purchase, customer retention, customer loyalty, through your collaboration with these people. And it is part of your job. And you can report that as part of the value that you're bringing to the table. Another group you can work with is the product team itself. When the product is good, you are able to retain more customers. You're able to complete more successful onboarding. The work you do to help them review onboarding, help them review so many features all the time and give them feedback also ties into some of the value that you can communicate to management to say, this is why I am important to this organization. Sometimes senior management will not see it until you make it clear to them.
Honestly, you said the utmost true. It is, and I hope people start implementing these things. Start
I hope so.
looking away from vanity metric, and management want to see the revenue they want to see. If you're showing them
Yeah.
how so have drive, oh, we are going viral on TikTok. Okay, how much?
How much has he brought? You get at the end of the day, how much has he really brought? So it's not virality that the brand, of course, the brand needs virality, but the virality should be able to drive certain action that means something for the business. So we've gone viral, we've gotten 3,000 new followers. How many of them are buying, right? You want to, and sometimes it is not, so sometimes we are also too quick to report things. I think that's also the challenge, right? We are too quick to report things. So I've done a campaign and the campaign has gone viral. We've gotten new followers. Rather than just go back to management and say, oh, this our campaign got us 3,000 new followers. Calm down. Do a follow up of those new people and engage them and make sure that they are the kind of customers that you're actually looking for and then see them take the action. Then you then report the entire journey to management, not just we've done campaign and we've gotten 3,000 followers. You have to say, oh, out of these 3,000 followers, we've seen about 200 of them buy our products, right? And this is how much value that we've gotten just as a result of this campaign. That makes more sense to management than saying we got 3,000 new followers.
Make more sense. Moving away from marketing, um, one of your tweets is never get too comfortable with access that you trivialize
Oh,
and
yes.
abuse it. This is not just
Yeah.
about access to high network people, it's about everyone that welcomes you into their space.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about this one because I've seen a lot of people complain about how people trivialize access, how people abuse it,
Yeah. Yeah.
how your mentors will give their mentees chance and then they turn their DM into something else. I've seen it,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Yeah.
young men, how they abuse access. I want to speak about it.
Oh, yes. I think that's one of the silent social rules that everyone needs to be conversant with. That anyone who welcomes you into their space is giving you a part of their lives, right? And you must respect it, their time, their knowledge, whatever it is that they are willing to share with you. You have to respect it. And you're not respecting it because of their status, which is why I said it is not just about high network individuals. Your classmate who opens up to you and welcomes you into their life as a friend, you have to respect that access. That person who decides to be a roommate with you, right? And welcomes you, into that arrangement, you have to respect that access. That colleague that, you know, decides to spend more time talking to you and all of that. Because look, we can all be snobbish and nothing will happen to anybody. Everybody will be fine, right? Basically, just appreciate people's time. Appreciate whatever people share with you. Appreciate it. That's what makes you a better human. That's just what that tweet really, was trying to convey. Say, look, you don't treat people based off of the level you meet them, and you don't get too over familiar that you stop respecting what people are giving to you. And the simple reason is that you will not love to be treated that way either. You get? So whenever somebody gives you, you have to just admit, whenever somebody welcomes you into their space, right, that they've given you access and you have to deal with it. So don't waste people's time. Don't leave people on read for no reason just because you want to feel like the bigger person. Don't take advantage of people's kindness. Don't don't just go around trampling on people, just because you can, and then you only respect certain few people, right? Just because they mean certain things to you. Whoever it is that comes into your life, simply treat them like human beings. Treat them with the same dignity, with the same respect that you love to be treated. That's just what was in my mind at the time I made that tweet. And then you're talked about something about mentor-mentee relationship, right? I have a I have a funny or quite different um, assessment of what a proper mentor and mentee relationship should be. First off, I don't think everyone is cut out to be a mentor. I don't think everyone. There are some people that are not cut out for the job of mentoring. And I'll tell you, mentoring is not a job that you do where you sit back and wait for people to come to you. Mentoring is sacrifice. Mentoring is a lot of sacrifice. There is a movie, The Forge. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Netflix now or on Prime. Right? It's a Christian movie, but the name of the movie is The Forge. I would beseech you to go watch that movie. You are going to see real mentoring in action. What real mentoring delivers. Mentoring can be painful. Mentoring is you putting a lot of things on the line just to get. Mentoring is like training a child from infancy to adulthood. Mentoring is replicating yourself, no matter how hard it is. It is not dishing out orders. It is not giving advice alone. No, anybody can give advice. Do you understand? Mentoring is you taking care of somebody, nurturing them, pushing them, guiding them till they get to where you want to go, and you're not giving up on them. So, mentoring is almost like fatherhood, it's like parenting. So, when I see people complain about how certain people approach mentoring or approach them for mentors and the behavior, I say you're not ready. If you decide that you want to mentor somebody, trivial things like how they come to your DM, the kind of requests they make, will not make you feel some way. You will simply guide them to say, I see you, I see what you're trying to do, but that is not how to do it, right? This is how to do it. You have mentored the person because you've seen the person going in a wrong way and you've gently nudged the person to the right way. Doesn't mean you have to meet their demand at the time, but you've just simply said, this is how to do it, or this is what you should do. This is the focus you should have. So that that person too will be able to teach someone else in the future that, oh, my mentor taught me this, so I can teach you as well. But when the person makes the mistake and then you throw the baby and the bathwater away, you have failed. In fact, you have made the person worse than when you picked them from. Do you understand? And now, for the mentee, right? The mentee, on the other hand, needs to also understand that when you present yourself to someone to mentor you, right? There are certain obligations that you yourself must be willing to fulfill, right? Yes, you're going to make mistakes, but what your mentor needs from you most is your resilience. it is that you must not give up on your own self, right? You are in that relationship to take advantage of everything that your mentor has to offer you. So if you think your mentor can give you money, please ask. Is they are within their right to turn you down and maybe teach you how to make money on your own, right? But what you must not do is get angry that your mentor did not help you, so you destroy the relationship. That resilience to say, I have chosen to be mentored by this person because I want to be like this person. So until you see yourself walking in the same path as that person, you cannot give up on that relationship. So I believe that both parties, the mentor and the mentee, must understand why they are in it in the first place for that relationship to work. The mentor must realize that I am basically taking the job of a father, of a parent here. The mentee must also understand that I am embarking on a journey I'm not going to disembark from until I see the result that I want. When both of them agree, you will see that they both have a wonderful relationship as mentor mentee. That's my take.
17. That was so good. I've never viewed mentorship and mentee relationship from this angle. This is the first time I'm hearing something like this. I must be honest with you. I've never ever viewed it from that angle. Um, yes, I would say my idea of mentorship is, yeah, the mentor should try, but I do not think the mentor should go um an extreme length. Say what I'm taking from your explanation is that the mentor should be ready to take insult, not
No,
direct
no, no.
insult. Things that are not, oh, your mentee is in your DM and is talking the wrong way. You should be ready to take it and say, come.
No. So again, let me quickly make that clear, right? When you decide to mentor people, right, you must be ready to own up, or you must be ready to accept that they will make mistakes at some point. It could be mistakes that would affect you or affect them or affect someone else. So if a mentor comes or if a mentee comes and speaks in a certain way to you, you need to realize in that moment that they are not talking to you. You must be willing to realize in that moment that they are making a mistake. It is not about you in this case. It is to say, hey, Feromi, you shouldn't be talking this way. Maybe we should pause this conversation now. Can I give you a call tomorrow? You understand is emotional intelligence in that moment, right? You give that conversation space so the person has time to think. You have time to think. The next time you're having the conversation is an opportunity to correct the person, to straighten the person. Do you get? So if that's why I said as a mentor, look, your job is like the job of a father, right? You, it's not like you are there to collect insult too. No, you have your self-respect and your self-confidence intact. You must be able to separate when your self-confidence has taken a hit and when you are actually in control of a situation. That somebody calls you mad does not mean you are mad. You know that you have your senses intact. If somebody says you are mad, it does not mean you are mad. You simply ask the person, are you sure of what you are saying? Because you can see white. Why are you calling it black? Do you get? It means that you are in control. You know who you are. You know you are not mad. Do you get? So it's about making the person question their words, their thoughts, and then coming back later to say you don't call people mad except they've shown you mad behavior, and that is not the what we signed up for when we started this relationship. You will never see me call someone mad. So why are you calling someone mad? And the person will understand. I mean, if they have sense in their head, right? But because the person has said something to you and you take it, maybe you yourself need more mentoring before you start mentoring people. That's why I don't think that everybody is cut out for mentorship. Because if you have not attained a certain level of self confidence, of emotional intelligence, of self awareness, of an actualization, I really don't think you want to mentor people. I mean, you may say, I'm guiding you in a particular way. Maybe as a musician, I want to mentor another musician. My job is not to help your life. It's just to give you tools that I have access to help you become a better musician, right? So, I mean, if we are not doing music, I don't have any responsibility over you. But I'm saying that you have chosen to mentor somebody, which is not that I want to give you access to build more skills. No, I want to mentor somebody. You have taken control. You are like their godfather or their godmother. In that case, you are saying, I'm going to give you access to me, right? Because I want you to walk my path, and I want you to deliver the kind of results I'm delivering right now. And that's why I don't think anybody in this world should be charging for mentorship. No, it is something that you do out of the willingness of your heart. You should not be charging. If you charging, what you are doing is consultancy. You are teaching people what you know so that they can go and practice it. You are not trying to take responsibility for their success. You are just teaching them what they know. So that's consultancy. It's not mentorship. They are two
I agree
different
with
things.
you. This is actually deep, very, very deep. You took time to explain this, and I would say that's one of the biggest things I've learned from our conversation today. It's resonated with
Thank
me
you.
because I have mentees, right? I have mentees, and I think I'm not doing well with what you just said. I should
Now
do
you don't have
better.
to beat yourself up for it. You just have to,
No, no, no. I,
reevaluate.
yeah, I have to reevaluate. I learned some new things now that I think I should implement. Next time we
Yeah.
have our calls and all of these things. Which will take me to one of important question is, what is leadership? What does leadership?
Hmm. Okay. Should I go philosophical again, or I should just answer this as plainly as possible? Okay, for me, leadership is um let me gather my thoughts the best way that that would work. Leadership is taking responsibility. Taking responsibility for an outcome that you desire. Do you get? Taking responsibility for an outcome that you desire. So leading people so that you can take responsibility on behalf of the people to the outcome that you desire. So let me break it down, right? As a team lead, who sets the objectives? You, right? Who works with the team to meet those objectives? Who identifies people in the team that can function in different parts of the value chain that will help us meet the objective? Exactly. And at the end of the day, when the objective is achieved, who goes forward to represent the team in taking the glory? Exactly. So a leader is one who takes it upon themselves, right, to be responsible for the success or failure of the team. So sometimes you can be the leader but not the leader. I can have a team lead who has the title of team lead, but I have a team follower who is always the one gingering people. Guys, we cannot give up. We have to keep going. We have to do this. That one who is doing the gingering, he has a vision in his head that he's seeing. Even though others are not seeing it, he has taken responsibility on his own that I need to get my people to work with me for us to deliver this vision. He has seen it. He desires it. He wants it. So he's taking personal responsibility for it. Do you get? So that person is the leader. The other person is just the title team lead. But the real leader is that person. So that is leadership in any capacity. Self leadership is you seeing a vision of your future and bringing everything that you have within you to achieve it. Even when you are tired, you say, I can still give 5 minutes more. Even when you don't feel up to it, you lead yourself to say, if I can do 5 minutes, I will get my ginger back. Even when there is Owambe, you say, no, I need to study 10 minutes, even if it's 20 minutes. That is you bringing the team members in your own body into alignment to achieve that vision that you have. And that's why they said the best leaders are those who have been able to lead themselves first. Because it is easy for you to give up if your teammates are not cooperating. Do you understand? You can give up and just go and be complaining to your own supervisor and say, these people that you gave me, or more, they are difficult to have me to have given up. It's because you've not bought into that vision. Because the real qualities of leaders, they are people who have two things working out for them. Number one, they are stubborn. Number two, they apply urgency to everything. That's two things. A leader is stubborn. If this way does not work, I'll go and find another way. It's because you are stubborn. A leader is urgent. We have to do it quickly. I can't push this till tomorrow. So what do we need to do? Do you need me to give you stuff? What do I need? They don't procrastinate. So that urgency and that doggedness or stubbornness, they are two qualities. Because guess what? Life is designed in such a way sometimes that so many things will come and test your resolve. You say you want to do something, they will throw different things at you that will make you look like maybe it's not worth pursuing. Maybe it's not worth trying. Maybe if your stubbornness cannot overcome that situation, you give up quickly. So for me, a leader is one who has taken responsibility to deliver a goal, right? To deliver an outcome. That's a leader. And that's why they tell leaders failure is not fatal. Do you know why? Because of stubbornness. Because why will you tell me failure is not fatal? If I have failed at something, am I not supposed to just go and rest and say, let's move on? But the stubbornness in you brings you back and say, we'll try it again. We have to try it 99 times. If we have to try it 99 times, we keep trying. That is stubbornness. That's leadership. You get? And that's it.
It's been, it's been an awesome time chatting with you. It's over an hour already. And my
I
God,
mean, I didn't
it's
even realize. I'm just
at
looking at
all.
it now. 1 hour, 13
It's
minutes.
just too, yeah, it's just too good. It's just too impactful. Um,
Thank
I
you.
want to ask one last question before we wrap it up.
Okay.
Let's hypothesize here. Let's say there's a
All right.
boy in your street called Kunle. Kunle is 25
Yeah.
years old. Kunle does not have a job. Of course, he graduated
Yeah.
from university.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for what to do. He does not know his way out yet. What would be your advice
All
to
right.
Kunle? What will you say to Kunle? How can Kunle figure his life out? What should he do?
Hmm. Kunle is 25 years old, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he's
He
out of the
graduated from
university.
school.
He doesn't have a job.
Yes. he doesn't even know what to do next.
Okay, my advice to Kunle, basically, if he has a university degree but he does not know what to do, so it means, me understanding the situation is that whatever he studied in the university is not what he intends to work with. Is that correct? Good. So it means that Kunle is lost in the world and he needs to find himself, because you cannot lead yourself to anywhere in the world if you have not found yourself. The first thing Kunle needs to do is to find himself. Who am I? What wakes me up in the morning? It's fine if you don't have anything that wakes you up in the morning, right? But in the course of your full day, what do you look forward to most? Even if you wake up in the morning, right? Is there something that happens in the course of your day that you've noticed over a period of time that you look forward to? Is there an activity that you do that gives you joy, gives you pleasure? You don't stress about doing it. In fact, you are happy to do it, even if they are not going to pay you for free. They are not going to pay you anything, right? What, where do you go to that you find yourself doing a lot of thinking? So where is that? Where do you get inspiration from? Where do you find yourself, coming up with different ideas that just come to your head? So it is all of these things, knowing these things, that you can begin to find yourself. Say, what moves me? Am I somebody who enjoys bringing people together? Am I somebody who enjoys helping others? Am I somebody who enjoys solving problems? You need to find that thing that will now start pulling a thread from that place to say, okay, this is what you enjoy doing. Let's go and plug it here and see if it works, right? So for Kunle to have studied in university, it means he can read and write. It means he has intelligence to study for exams and pass and do all of that, right? So that's a good starting point. If you can read and write, that means, there is so many things that you can do. What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy, watching movies? If you watch movies, can you analyze the movie? There is so much opportunities out there. You can start a podcast like this where you become a movie critic, and you do it. If you do it so well, you start getting brand deals, right? Or are you the type who loves, sharing your opinion on several other things? You can be the next, I'm not saying VDM, but you can be anything. We live in a world today where there is no bad job anymore. I mean, apart from you doing bad things, right? Gone are those days when our parents used to say we should not play football, right? Now some of them are even trying to nudge us towards playing football. You get? Gone are those days when you acting in Nollywood meant you are a wayward person. Today, it is no longer the same. So many things have changed. So there are opportunities out there, right? But for you to take on any opportunity, you must first find yourself. And finding yourself will mean that you need to ask yourself the hard questions. What wakes me up in the morning? What do I look forward to most in the day? Where do I get most of my inspiration? What do I do that I enjoy, such that if I continue to do them and they don't pay me for it, I'm happy. You get? So some people have not tapped into their inner core enough, and that's why they feel lost. And sometimes it could be a problem of indecision. Maybe you have so many things in your head that you want to do, but you just cannot point down to one thing that you want to do, right? Or another thing I can do for the guy in this situation is to ask him to change his environment, right? Maybe he needs to, move away from where he is, move elsewhere, change his circle, change the people that influence his thoughts, that influence his life. maybe he begins to see life a different way and he can find his purpose from there. Different things can work for different people. You get, because no matter how often you plant a seed on clay, it's not going to germinate. But if you take that seed away and put it in a loamy soil, it is going to germinate. So sometimes also it could be the background, it could be the environmental influence, it could be people around that are, not making you see road that you're supposed to see. So move away from that place, go elsewhere, let something else inspire you, and maybe you find yourself.
Thank you very much, Olumide. I really appreciate that answer. I asked that question because uh, there have a lot of people that listen to my podcast. Majority of my listeners are men. About more than 80%
Hmm.
are men, and I really wish
Hmm.
to have something like that for them. Fresh graduate as well. I've noticed that age 23 to
Oh, great.
25, 27 and co. I hope
Hmm.
many of them are confused. A lot of them are always confused after NYC, looking for what to do. What
Wow.
should I even do? They don't know, and that is interesting. So going forward, I would ask some questions from you. If I can
All
mention
right.
something like iPhone, you will just pick the one that you like the most. You
Okay.
get, or I can mention something like books. You tell me the book you like the most or the one you find fascinating. It's real. Let's start from book.
Book. So the book title that I love the most, right?
Like any book you like the most.
Atomic Habits.
Atomic habit. Language.
Yoruba. Yoruba. Let me speak it the way it should be.
Food.
Pounded yam.
Football club.
Arsenal for life.
Football player.
Right now, Bukayo
Yeah.
Saka.
Social media application. Social
Right
media
now,
apps.
X.
Well, book in the Bible.
That would be Ecclesiastes.
Fruit.
Orange.
Brand.
Sterling Bank.
Color.
Wine.
Country.
Uh, well, country is sad, but Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, Olumide. That's it. It
Thank you
ends
for
sad.
having me. This has been fun.
Yes. So, what will you leave us with? What's your message to the world?
Ah, okay. I didn't expect this question, but yeah, I think my message to the world is that we need to learn to live in peace, tolerate each other more. Enough of the divisions. We have too many divisions, and it's affecting us a lot. And and I've come to accept that we probably may not be able to solve that problem. I'm a Christian, so I think I'm allowed to express some bit of my faith here. We may not be able to solve that problem until the coming of Christ. So I would just encourage everyone, please know Christ before you leave this world, just so that you can, get peace on the other side. So yeah, I'm a man of peace. So Christ is peace. Find Christ, you find peace.
Thank you, Olumide.
Thank you very much.
34.